Welcome back, Seth Bling here. And today I've got Grum with me. For those of you who don't know who Grum is, he's one of the newer members of Mojang. Hey Grum, how's it going?
I'm perfectly fine. I'm sitting here in Stockholm actually right now.
Stockholm, that's cool.
I'm visiting the Mojang office with Evil Stuff as well. So
Cool.
we're here for a week.
Yeah, and you're moving there soon too, right?
Yeah, as soon as in next year, beginning of next year,
Okay.
hopefully.
All right. Well, the reason that I've brought Grum on here, onto this barren, empty world, is that, well, there's actually several reasons. One is Grum wanted some redstone lessons. So I'm going to give him redstone lessons, and hopefully you can follow along. And for those of you redstone noobs out there, like Grum, maybe you can learn something. The other reason is Mojang is considering making some fixes to some of the bugs, the long-standing bugs with redstone. So we want to just kind of, as we're teaching Grum, want to put together a world that has a bunch of redstone circuits in it, so that when Mojang makes those changes, they can tell if they've broken the game.
Ah,
So,
useful.
we're going to let me just get that time. So let's. Grum is very new to Redstone. He knows kind of the basics of how it kind of works, but not much else. So let me. I need a lever actually. I want a lever.
I, I have no gear at all, and I don't seem to have
That's
creative
okay.
mode. I feel
Oh,
a
you don't
bit
have.
silly.
Oh, let me give you creative mode.
I
All
can't
right,
even fly.
there we go. Yeah, I've been flying around. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you jealous. All right. Well, the first thing, let's start with the basics. Let's see how much you know. Okay, so we've got a lever on a block and some redstone dust. When you flick the lever on, that's going to turn the dust on, and when you flick the lever off, it turns the dust off. You know that, right?
Yep.
All right.
Same with the button and the pressure
Same
plate,
with the
and
button and the pressure plate. The lever is on when it's down. That's something that isn't necessarily intuitive, but uh, so, and then you also probably know. Okay, so we've got three redstone dust: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 16 dust. So now when we
yep,
flick this on and we go to the very ends, you'll see there's no particles coming off the last one, and it's not on. So
yep.
there's that limit of 15 blocks. All right. So now we know a couple things. Let's see. All right. So next up is the NOT gate. This is like the most simple thing. So we have redstone line going into a block. The block has a torch on it. And you know what this does, right?
Yeah, it turns off the torch.
Turns off the torch. All right. So this is called a NOT gate. The reason is, in logic, you say the output is not what the input is. So if the input's on, the output's off. If the input's off, the output's on. And so this has an input and output. It only goes one way. If I say I turn this on, if I put a lever over here, obviously it's not going to affect the torch. So that's just how it works. All right, this is a NOT gate. Let me actually label this. All right, 15-meter redstone. Whoops. Redstone limits. Whoops. NOT gates. All right, so
I'm actually placing a sign at the same location. I wonder what happens now.
oh, interesting.
Ah, it overrides the text, but not the rotation.
Huh. Well, we just discovered something about the game. All right, so let's take a look at some things that don't work.
This is
Um,
kind of strange. I can't break this block. I'm
you,
plugging out an op. I'm
oh,
in
you're probably, yeah,
spawn.
you're not up. Let's up you. There
So
we
the
go.
sign is empty here now. Ah, that's better.
All right, great. Okay, so let's have the same setup. In fact, exact same setup. Um, and this is a NOT gate. It works exactly the same. It turns it off. In fact, you could also put the torch on top of the block. The way it works is any torch that's attached to a block will get turned off if the block has power. Okay, so yep, there you go, there you go. I'm gonna actually remove this one. So the thing is though, if I put a redstone here, it creates a bend. And
Yeah.
now the redstone isn't pointing at the block. If I turn off, or if I turn on the power, it's not going to be powering the block, so none of the torches are going to turn off. So let's label this non-functional not gate. So this doesn't work. There are some interesting things that go along with this sort of connectivity issue. Down equals on. Okay, sure. So, like, if you have a dot, this is kind of interesting. Actually, it used to look like a kind of an X or a cross.
Yeah, cross indeed. Yeah, like a fully connected one.
I liked it a lot more that way because it was a lot more representative of what
but
it
it
actually
looks like
did.
that one in the middle.
Yeah, it used to look like that. I liked it a lot more when it did that because it was a lot more representative of what it did. Because this actually is powering this block, this little dot here. It's powering the block with the torch on it. It's also powering this block, and it's also powering this block. So this actually does act more like a cross than a dot.
That's actually something that you should probably fix now.
Yeah, so redstone dot not gate. So that's something important to know. Let me actually turn all of these off so that we have them. Okay, what else do we have? What's some other stuff that works that might not be obvious? Okay, say we have a lever here, so the lever will power redstone on top of it. And then we have a torch at the end. This is also a NOT gate. If there's redstone dust on top of a block, and on top of this block with a torch on it, that's going to cause the block to be powered too. It doesn't just have to be pointing at the block, it can also be powered redstone on top.
Okay. So it powers the block directly in front and the block directly above it.
In fact, it also the lever you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yep, it also powers the block directly below it. Or just redstone dust directly below it. Yeah.
Oh wait, I might have a better way of showing that. Let's see.
Oh yeah, sure. Lamps also can kind of tell you what it's powering. Yeah, and there's here let me grab a lamp too. Yep, and in fact it does this one too, and all of these. But then you can't access it. So I guess
but it does.
Yeah, it does power those. Yeah. So it's
So
anything next to the lever, and anything next to the block that the lever is powering, basically.
That's quite some area that it powers actually.
But,
how's that for a torch? If you just put down a single torch, let's see.
If you put a torch on any of these blocks that are lit, or no, not on any of the blocks that are lit. In fact, if you put a torch on any of these blocks that are lit, I don't think any of them will power the torch. Oh yeah, I see what you're trying to do.
So why doesn't that light under the torch work? That's probably because it. It's only the one next.
Yeah, it's just how the torch works. It's only blocks next to the torch, or above the torch, because when you power the block with redstone, that's what turns the torch off. So you wouldn't want the torch to power the block, and then that would turn the torch off, and then the torches wouldn't work.
Right. And because it powers the block powers one extra up.
Right.
Because this is two above the torch.
Yeah, so this is going to be a little bit confusing.
Right. So
yeah, there's actually a couple different types of redstone power, and when you look at it technically, so like there's a difference between. So for instance, take a look at this. The torch. Well, let me show you some other stuff before we get to that technical level.
Okay.
But yeah, let's put signs here. So, powered by lever, powered by torch, and let's go ahead and just remove all the blocks that aren't powered. Oh, we already have. Okay. Yep. Okay. So yeah, I guess kind of building on this torch thing, something cool you can do with this is you can have a pattern like this. This is called a vertical repeater tower. And basically this torch, the bottom torch powers the next block up, which turns the torch above it off. And since there's nothing powering the block above that, the torch above that's on, etc. Yeah, and so, whoops. So when you push the button, it kind of flips all of these torches.
It does seem to have a delay, though.
Yep, there is a delay. Yeah. So this is a vertical repeater tower. Yeah, there's a delay along with this. Yeah, probably using levers is a little bit better, just because then you can turn it off and see it more clearly. But and in fact, we can go ahead and just put a piston above this one, and that'll make it easier to tell. So you can see, you can control the lever up there by using this tower. Okay, so before we get to actual repeaters, I want to show you the old school repeaters that people used to use. And this is, so let me put the lever right here. So this is a repeater. Basically, the idea is, since we saw before that redstone can only travel 15 meters before it sort of peters out, this will extend the length of a signal. So if instead of 1 block here of redstone we had 15, then we could still have the signal travel farther. So when I flick this lever on, the power is going to get turned on at the end, and when I flip it off. So this is how before repeaters were implemented into the game. This is how people used to do repeaters. Well, this is bulky. This is one design. Yeah, it is pretty bulky, especially compared to just a single redstone repeater. But I mean, you can see how it works. This redstone dust powers this first green block, which turns off the torch. That will turn off this redstone dust, turns on this repeater, and this torch turns on the output. So,
right, so the actual output of the torch is on all the sides that aren't connected to the block, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This brings me to a point, though, about some stuff you'll want to avoid. So here's a block on a repeater with some redstone on it. And if I put a block above this, the torch flickers for a while and then it burns out. So
okay.
Well, let me just label these for a sec. And then burnout. Okay. So here's what's going on here. When there is, this is not a bug. This is actually not a bug. Intended. Yeah, feature. So the torch starts out on. You know, when you place it, the torch is on.
Yeah. So
and
we saw it
was powering this block above it. I guess to see why this happens, maybe I should do something like this.
You can keep toggling it. That's fun.
So there's if you come over here and take a look at this redstone over here. Look, there's a redstone on top of the block on this one. Okay. So this redstone torch doesn't power that. When I put a block on top, though, it powers the block, and that block powers this redstone.
Yeah,
this is a stronger type of redstone signal than what we've seen before, because this block is actually emitting power. We haven't actually seen any other blocks that are emitting power.
So this only happens. So it only happens when there's a torch right below. Are there other ways to make it?
Right. There are other ways to make it. We'll get to that later on, I guess. So what's going on here is the exact same thing. The torch is powering the block above it, which powers the redstone next to it, which powers the block below that redstone, which is what the torch is attached to. So
and then the torch goes
off, things turn on, etc. So it flickers really fast. There's some stuff hard-coded into the game that says if the torch is flickering too fast, just burn it out. And it'll randomly get reset on average every 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, when a game tick, when a block random tick comes by, right?
Right. Yeah. So you kind of got to avoid this pattern. And so like when we had this repeater over here, if you put a block above this one, it's going to break the repeater. So you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
But another way to make a block give power is just put a lever on it. Right?
Yes, you're right. That is another way to make the block. It's in fact putting a lever on it is exactly the same thing as putting a torch below it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the torch can only do it from the bottom, right? Because otherwise,
yeah,
it takes power from the block.
Yep.
Or control, how do you say? It can be turned off.
Yep. You got it. Let's see.
Okay.
So what's next? Maybe we start talking about repeaters.
Yay!
All right. Well, I guess first thing is to demonstrate the repeater doing its thing. So you have repeater. You have redstone coming in, redstone going out. Actually, let me put a lever on top. So you can put a lever on top of a block. You can also put a lever underneath the block. That's one of the newer features. But okay, so we have. All right, so we have the repeater, and we have these 3 blocks, I guess. If you take a look at the redstone, you can start to see as brighter red where there's higher power. And before you actually in the left, okay, I see you're doing different delays. It's actually 4 different levels of delay. So maybe you want a 4th branch.
Shh! Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. So and let's do a 5th one with no repeater too.
Yeah. We should probably do something that gives out a shorter pulse than something that's permanent.
It's okay. We'll do more stuff later with repeaters for sure. So yeah, if you flick it on, flick it off, you'll see.
I should probably change the delays.
1, 2, 3. I got it. There we go. So yeah, you'll see it. They'll see them turn off and on from going from left to right because there's different amounts of delay. The leftmost branch.
Off is instant for all of them, by the way. That's what? The off is instant.
No.
For all of them.
Look again. No, there's a delay.
Oh, okay. It updated slow on my screen.
It was probably just the lag, the server lag.
Yeah, when I do it myself, it's clearly visible that it changes indeed.
Yeah, so if you come over here and take a look, you'll notice that the redstone dust over here is a little bit dimmer than the rest of them.
Yeah,
and
I can move it further back, but
you can. No, it's fine. No, it's good to demonstrate with. So, I mean, that kind of tells you how close the signal is to decaying all the way. It'll get dimmer and dimmer as you go. So you can see if it's really bright, then you're fine. You're not running out of redstone line. Yeah. So this just asks to repeat the signal. If you have a wire longer than 15 meters or 15 blocks, then you need these repeaters. If you want to introduce a delay, then there you go. Yeah, you hit it. You don't even need it right here. So this torch isn't receiving power, or this block. So each tick that you put on the repeater adds a delay of 1/10 of a second.
So that's 2 game ticks.
2 game ticks, sure.
Yeah.
I will often call it 1 tick, and when I'm dealing with redstone, I just say 1 redstone tick or just 1 tick.
Okay, but aren't there things that can do a single redstone?
Yeah. By default, I just talk about redstone ticks as opposed to game ticks because usually when I'm trying to reason about redstone logic, I'm just dealing with redstone ticks.
Okay.
So if you hear me talking about ticks, I mean 2 game ticks, which is 1 redstone tick, which is a tenth of a second.
Yeah, so we have 10 of them. Okay.
Yeah. So this repeater takes 1/10, this takes 2/10, 3/10, 4/10. Now, you noticed a delay on the torches before. There's actually a 1 redstone tick delay on the torches. So yeah, there's a 5 tick delay if you put a couple of repeaters together. There's a 1 tick delay on the torches too. So when the block receives power, it takes a tick for the torch to actually turn on or off.
Okay.
Update. So that's why you were.
Why they burn out, right?
That's why you were seeing here. It actually takes 4/10 of a second between the time you flick the lever and the time the piston's going to go up or down.
Yeah, and that's also the reason why this one burns out because it goes faster than the torch normally wants.
Right. It takes 1 tick for the torch to turn on and off, and then in between turning on and off, there's 1 tick, and vice versa.
It just popped on. That's funny. Random behavior.
So here's redstone repeaters. That's the most basic thing about them. So let's go ahead and label this redstone repeaters. Okay. And all right, let's move on.
I think I crashed.
Oh no.
Just.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start building some stuff for when you get back in the game. All right.
Shouldn't be long.
next thing I'm going to show you is that repeaters also cause a block to emit power, and that's pretty important. Okay, if you want to come over here. So the repeater is powering the block in the same way that a torch underneath or a lever above would power it.
But only when you lead it in there or so? Because...
Sorry, I don't understand the question. Oh yeah,
well,
only when it's pointing directly at the block.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this repeater isn't pointing at the block, so it's not going to power the block. Let's actually make a separate thing for that. Let's put that over here.
Okay.
Because that is a good something important to note. Yeah, you have to have the repeater pointing directly at the block to power the block. In fact, we could even use a lamp to demonstrate that. It's not getting any power at all.
Because the block itself, of course, is powered. Because actually, below a torch is no power, right?
Sorry.
Below a torch was no power.
Right.
Just make sure.
So
no, because that wouldn't work. Never mind.
So yeah, if you point it directly at the block, it'll emit power. But if it's not pointing at a block, it won't do anything.
So the tower you had here with the piston on top, that basically just works for up.
Yeah, that only works for up. That's right. So you can do some interesting stuff with it. Actually, let me show you another example of something kind of cool you can do with it. So you can also use sort of less direct paths to get the power up, and this will create more delay. But I'm doing basically the same thing. You know, the torch on the bottom powers the next block up, powers the torch, powers the next block up. But one of the cool things about this is if you take a look at these redstone lamps, they're all getting powered.
Ah, okay, yeah, because the blocks get power as well.
Because the blocks get powered, and the torch itself is emitting power, so you can turn on and off all the redstone lamps at once that way. Yeah, that's a good demonstration. Other vertical power. Oops. Yep. So yeah, it's just like different patterns of redstone lamps.
Yep.
Okay, so then moving on, next thing for repeaters is that repeaters can receive signals from weakly powered blocks.
Oh, what?
So,
okay. What's a weakly powered block? Because
this block is weakly powered because it's not emitting a redstone signal, but it would, say, light up a lamp next to it. So that's the difference between a strongly powered and a weakly powered block. A weakly powered block will light up the lamp next to it, or a piston or whatever. It'll turn off the torch, but it won't emit a signal of its own.
We should probably put it in here somewhere, because we didn't really describe that yet.
Yeah, it's a hard concept to describe unless you have some knowledge about, you know, what the behavior of redstone is and isn't going to do. Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically the way I would describe it is what I just said. Like, it'll light up the things next to it, but it won't actually emit the power to the redstone. But but the weakly powered block will also light. You know, if the redstone repeater is pointing directly away from that block, it'll light it up. So here's something kind of a neat tidbit you can get out of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Put a block here, a repeater here, and another block here. And this will actually work. Because, you know, we're powering this block weakly, and that the redstone repeater can receive a signal from a weakly powered block. And then that strongly powers this block.
Yeah, but a wire can't.
Right. Well, the wire, yeah. You got it.
Yeah.
So, and then, yeah, this strongly powers the block. So you can actually, if you're using repeaters, you can save 2 redstone wire by just putting blocks in here. So this is just kind of a helpful tip if you're really, really low on redstone wire.
Which is very unlikely.
Well, sure. But it's also just kind of something neat to know.
Yeah.
Repeater efficiency.
So, everything but redstone wire can get power from a weakly powered block? Or get power will be activated?
Should take a piston, pretty much everything. Yeah, pistons work exactly the same as the redstone lamps. If a redstone lamp is lit up, the piston is going to extend.
Why did they put them sideways?
They're going to face whichever way you're...
Yeah, I know, but this is saner.
It depends. There's different merits. There's actually a lot that goes into it. But yeah, that's... I guess he changed... Dinnerbone recently changed the logs to be placed sort of more like that. But it can be hard to place a piston like you want to either way, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot of the stuff with repeaters. There's a little bug here. If you put a redstone torch down... Let's see if I can find the right orientation. Oh, there it is. Did you see it? Oh, you're over there. Putting down a sign. Weak, strong. Yep. Good. So when I place this this redstone repeater here, there's just a directional bug. You see it blink on?
Yeah, but only the second time. The first time it didn't show. Maybe laggy-ish.
Yeah, it's just lag. Place this.
Also, this one didn't turn on.
Yeah, it's a directional thing. Let's see.
Oh.
Blink on. So that's a bug. That's something that should probably be fixed.